Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. For today's video, after having spent most of the uh, previous month talking about a fictional strategist, I thought I would kickstart this month by talking about a real historical strategist, or to be more precise, as the title of this video will have already given away, um, I will be talking about Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Not the original, obviously. That one was written in Old Greek, and and I have I which I can read. Given I don't know Old Greek, I barely know Modern Greek. Rather, I'm going to be talking about this translation that has been published by the Romanian publishing house Litera, and penned by Dr. Mihaela Paraschiv, whose expertise in in handling texts from this particular time frame goes as far back at least as my own lifetime. So it is to that end fair to say that one of Romania's best publishing houses has handed one of the has handed one of the has handed this particular text over to one of the most appropriate pairs of hands to really handle it. So, what was the result of this collaboration? My impressions in summary are whatever it is that you thought you knew about Stoicism, this book is bound to set you straight. It, because it approaches the philosophy from a very comprehensive, very all-encompassing, very holistic viewpoint, allowing for plenty of insights, not just into its principles, but also within its pragmatic applications and what they mean for and what their ramifications are for the for the broader society. So, if you are interested in Stoicism or philosophies of the antiquity more generally, well, then I think it is safe to say that this book is a pretty good primer within that field. Properly annotated, of course. And if your grasp on Romanian is strong enough, I would actually recommend that you get this edition. I haven't read any other, any other Romanian releases of this book in order to compare. However, based on what I've seen from this book and from how expansively it is able to, how extensively these, the translations and annotations are capable of complementing the original text, I think it is fair to say that this is a good a good release of this book. And now that I've covered the broad strokes, it's time I delved into some specifics. This book is actually a collection of notes that the author wrote over the course of a campaign in order to perhaps collect himself and his own impressions with regards to his philosophy and how that philosophy has shaped the way he approaches not just the world around him, but also the various relationships he has within his life, both to himself and and to others. These notes were actually never meant to be collected and released as a separate book. However, or as a standalone book, but but just like with Anne Frank's diary, someone went ahead and did that anyway. I would ask how exactly those notes were collected and published, but given the history of this book, I am pretty sure that the information around that is readily available, and I just sorry, my voice is acting up today. Anyway, I'm pretty sure the information is already out there and available. I might, I might look into it eventually. The thing about this book not being written for an audience is that it utilizes a lot of references that haven't exactly carried over, so to speak. Oh, they were obviously familiar to the author and would perhaps have been familiar to people who were within the same social category as the author. But fast forward like 2 millennia, those those same references really only connect if you have a specific understanding and knowledge base that that the author would also have been capable of pulling from, which most people don't have. That is why I recommend that you get an annotated edition, and perhaps also why this book is often published with subtitles such as Reflections on Myself or Conversations with Myself. And this is where the translator comes in, and also all of the annotations that she makes over the course of this book. And I have to say that for the most part, these annotations are quite effective. They they come across, they show up over the course of the text quite generously, but not excessively. She always makes them whenever they are, whenever they are most relevant for the, for the sake of this text's comprehension, and the information they deliver on the on the context or on the information that is needed in order to make the text itself more comprehensive are both broad but also very specific. She knows how to talk to the audience about the specific information that is that is needed in order to fill out the context that makes the various points of the text more meaningful. There are, however, some points where she goes a little bit overboard, such as when the text is quoting or more precisely, when the book quotes a part of a text, and then she goes and puts out the whole text in Latin, and then gives a translation of it as well, which I have to say is a little bit excessive. There are some moments as well where I've noticed that she tries to connect the details of the text to a modern audience, but the references that she pulls to connect to a modern audience are kind of don't really mesh well. So what she thinks a modern audience would be interested in isn't always what a modern audience would actually be interested in. So yeah, it's typical like disconnected academic kind of stuff. Still, these moments are few and far between, and in fact, in the majority of the cases, I would say that the annotations are quite effective, and they do quite well in and they do quite well at delivering the context that the text needs, both in terms of the biographical information that Marcus Aurelius would be calling upon for the sake of his book, but also in terms of the philosophical underpinnings of his text, primarily dealing with the with the dominant philosophical conflict of the time between Stoics and Epicureans, which revolves around their concepts about how exactly the world is put together, and therefore what the mechanisms of its functioning actually are. I should note here that while Marcus Aurelius is often labeled as a Stoic, this book actually includes plenty of Epicurean elements in it, though within a Stoic mindset. Given that Marcus Aurelius, by his own admission, isn't really a philosopher, more of a philosophy enthusiast, I think he's trying to both sides the conversation a little bit, in the sense that he is trying to in the sense that he acknowledges that both sides may be correct, but one may be more correct than the other. Hence why all of the Epicurean elements that he does bring forth do still fall broadly within a within a Stoicist mindset. I don't know. That's just that is my current interpretation of the way the way he approaches his philosophy, which may be flawed given that I've only read through this book once, and therefore there may be some some elements, some arguments that I have missed or haven't really processed to the extent that they would be worth it, or that they are worth. I can, however, say that for the most part, the principles and the arguments that he constructs do follow a logical and comprehensive path. They are at least internally consistent, so to speak. There is, however, one judgment error category that I've noticed happens a little bit more often than the rest, and the translator herself also calls him out on it. Namely, the fact that because he grew up in in a place of privilege within Rome's high society, he doesn't exactly know what what life is really like for most of the people. For most of the people outside of his social bubble, and as such, his philosophy, his personal approach to his philosophy, does have some gaps in terms of their applicability. This is not anything game breaking per se. It doesn't really invalidate everything that this book says, but it is still notable enough that I think it is worth commenting upon. Overall, while both translator and author have their own slip-ups, this collaboration spanning millennia nevertheless yields some quite interesting results, which manage to showcase a little bit of wisdom that is intriguing to follow and to analyze. My final rating for Meditations is a 4 out of 5. And yeah, that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself or to my review of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below. Right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. I also have a second channel where you can hear me talking about whatever else crosses my mind, though it'll typically still be related to narrative analyses, but of works outside of the print medium. So if that sounds like it could be interesting to you, then go ahead and check it out. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on the print medium and the various releases therein, well then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog of book reviews, writing advice, and miscellaneous connected topics. If none of that sounds interesting to you, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it for me. So until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.